Hello, hello. How are we feeling? Essence Festival, 30th anniversary. Yes. Hello, my name is Akili King. I am the senior beauty editor at Essence Magazine, and I am here with the incredible Kysre Gondrezick, WNBA star, beauty muse extraordinaire. We're going to get into a conversation about beauty inclusivity and changing the industry for the better. So I'm super excited to be with you today. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. This is an amazing turnout.
Absolutely. You look beautiful.
Thank
No
you.
surprise there.
Thank
Yes, so before we get into some beauty questions, I would love for you to take us back to younger you. Tell me about where your passion for basketball began.
Yeah, so I grew up in a basketball heritage family. You know, my father's an NBA player. My mom won a national championship at Louisiana Tech. The family lineage of basketball, goes on through my bloodstream and my bloodline. And so coming out the womb, it was kind of expected for me to play basketball. Luckily, I had the passion and the work ethic for it to take me to some amazing places in this world. It's paid for my education and for me to venture off onto the highest platform of women's basketball and make it to the WNBA. I'm truly grateful for what this game has given me. It's been truly a gift and a blessing at the same time.
That's so beautiful. I love to hear it. And where are you from again? Remind me.
I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, and then I moved to Michigan.
Okay, amazing. Okay, and then getting into beauty, like where did your passion for beauty and fashion begin? Was that something you were always interested in growing up?
Yeah, so growing up, I was pretty much of a tomboy. My father used to have us in the cornrows and the headbands. But it wasn't until when I got to college and started paying attention to a little bit more of how I carried myself as I got into, my young lady, years. And it wasn't truly until probably maybe last year I didn't really start paying attention to fashion and rebranding myself. I think once when I hit 25 and I started getting into my womanhood, I noticed that my aura, my fashion, I wanted it to replicate where I was at in my life in terms of just how, my wisdom, the place that God has me in, my level of maturity. And I feel like my fashion embodies exactly where I'm at in my life right now.
I love it. I love it. And you have such a classic, timeless look in terms of both beauty and fashion. So it's, incredible to hear that you sort of just started getting into it because it seems so natural to you. Off of that, I'm curious, who were some of your beauty inspirations growing up versus who are they right now?
Yeah, so all of my inspirations growing up were all very basketball oriented. You had Tina Thompson and Skylar Diggins at the time. She took me underneath her wing when I was in middle school. But because basketball has given me opportunities to be able to venture out into the fashion, modeling industry, I got a chance to be around some of the high fashion models and saw the way that they carried themselves. And for me, always sweating and being an athlete, my mom, she calls it the J-Lo bun. And so I'm always having my hair brushed back into a bun. And I really started to pay attention to the detail of my regimen and my skincare. I started doing Pilates, changed the frame of my body, knowing that there was a certain way that I wanted to look from a clean aesthetic. I think that my style truly resembles a 90s aura. And it's, refreshing for me in my womanhood to understand that beauty comes from within and not from the exterior. I think we as women, sometimes we get so, precedented into this false, illusion of reality that never is real, and as long as we keep chasing that illusion of beauty, we're always going to be altering ourselves. So to know that I can find it from within and to know that Kysre was more than enough to begin with, I'm glad that I can truly embrace that in my womanhood now.
That is beautiful. Couldn't agree more. And I love what you said about beauty stemming from the inside out. And you can find inspiration literally from yourself. So I love that. I want to circle more back to that later. But Also, I'm curious. I mean, we've all seen her gorgeous tunnel looks. Uh, so good. Where do you kind of draw your inspiration from when it comes to your approach to that, both makeup and hair-wise? And when you're going through the tunnel, like, what are you kind of pulling from?
Yeah, so I kind of go based off of the mood that I'm in. I am truly living in my blowout era. So, like, I like my hair big and full, the Farrah Fawcett look. And then have a fetish for leather jackets. I'm a suit girl. I love blazers. I love stockings. I'm learning how to implement dress shirts with blue jeans. You know, I've learned the beauty of less is more. And you don't have to overdo what God has already beautifully and wonderfully made.
Absolutely. Yes. Amen to that. And yeah, I love what you said about being in your blowout era. Literally, I was talking to my sister this morning, and she was like, Kysre is inspiring me. Maybe I should reconsider and be a blowout baddie. I was like, I feel that.
Yeah, no, I definitely transcended more into my natural era as I got into my womanhood. Something that I haven't truly shared with the world yet, that everyone sees this rebrand of Kysre, right? And like I said, it starts from the inside out. And so knowing that I was always enough, and I'm gonna be honest with my woman out here, you know, I took off the lashes, I took out the lip fillers, I took out the breast implants, and I just went all back natural. And it just taught me and showed myself in a different light of knowing that I never had to continue to chase this illusion of beauty and that it comes from within. And as long as I see myself the way God sees me, everyone else's opinion truly doesn't matter.
Exactly. Period. Wow, incredible. And off of that, I'm curious too, you know, I feel like when people think of basketball or sports in general, they might not immediately associate that with beauty or self-care or those kind of wellness things that we do to take care of ourselves. But I'm curious how or where you draw that confidence from to sort of push back on societal standards or, you know, pushing back on just not being placed into a box.
Yeah, I would definitely say for me, my isolation period is where I kind of grew up. And I'm a firm believer, you know, God will put us on paths that we didn't even know that we traveled to take us right to where we've asked for the entire time. And so being able to spend that quality time with him and getting to learn myself through a different light kind of set the standard of my aura, how I want to carry myself, and my company that I have around me. And I feel like now just being my most authentic self, I'm attracting everything it is that I want. Deservingly so because of the gifts that God has given me, you know, that I covered up for so long. And being able to transcend that into the basketball world, I feel like women's basketball in the WNBA is truly at the hottest time, especially with the rookie class that came in. You know, my teammate is Angel Reese, and we are like two peas in a pod. And, you know, and being able to have young women and ladies to embrace their femininity. Women's sports has come a long way, but I just think that it's a time for women in general right now. You know, I always say economically, you know, this world may have been made for men, but women, we make this thing go round, you know?
I know that's right. Yes. Yeah, I love that. I feel like y'all are just an example of showing younger girls or just women of any age that we can do and be anything that we want to be, show up how we want to show up, and it doesn't matter as long as we're feeling, you know, our best. So I love that. And then I'm curious, what are some self-care lessons that you've learned from playing such an intense sport? You know, you're constantly on the road, you're traveling, going to appearances, etc. What are some lessons that you've learned on self-care through that?
Yeah, well, luckily, you know, my mom, she always had me in the high bun and, you know, always taught me to keep my hair off my face. My skincare is a big thing for me because I've found the beauty in who I already am. I pay more attention to taking care of that aspect of me as well. I do a lot of I'm old school with it. I wear Noxzema on my skin, and my mom tells me to keep it in the refrigerator, you know. I went back to my roots. I do the Neutrogena acne pads, and I put collagen from TJ Maxx on my skin, and that's all I keep on my skin. And I keep my hair off my face. I keep makeup off my skin. You know, coming from a lineage of powerful black women, seeing that black don't crack, you know, I'm not living for this era, I'm living for longevity.
Absolutely, yes. And I love what you said about your mom. Yes, clap it up. I love what you said about your mom because I feel like mothers know best because I always would push back against like wearing Cetaphil or using that on my skin, and now I'm like, actually, she was right.
No, I didn't listen to my mom at all growing up, but now every phone call is like, Mom, what do I look like? What should I do? Yeah, she's my number one.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to mom. And then, yeah, you mentioned Pilates. I'm curious, like, what other kind of wellness things you do to kind of decompress and in terms of self-care in that
Yeah,
way.
so being an athlete, you know, off rip, I'll have to naturally, you know, keep myself in shape. But I think I've paid attention to my body just a little bit more and what I put in it, realizing that there are vibrational foods that you put in that make yourself feel better. You know, and my body has learned to adapt to that. I drink a lot of water. I even sometimes put apple cider vinegar in my water. I eat a lot of green foods. I try to stay away from sweets because I have a sweet tooth. I'm really bad. Like, I'll eat a half a gallon of Bluebell ice cream in one night. Like, I'm not playing. But I try to stay away from that as much as I can because I notice that it does have an effect on my mood. It has an effect on my skin. You know, I'll start breaking out. And I just think that once, you know, the best form of self-love is truly discipline. And if you can learn how to have accountability with yourself and learn how to be disciplined, you'll see it flourish in other areas of your life from the inside out. And you know, just paying attention to myself a little bit more has made all the difference, you know, and I feel like, yes, we were in this world to take care of others, but you have to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely. The body is the temple. Yes. And then I'm curious too, what advice would you give to maybe anyone who might be struggling to find their self-confidence and their inner belief in themselves?
Yeah, I've struggled with my self-confidence for a very long time, especially just always being in the limelight. It was hard because I always felt like I needed to continue to alter myself to fit this false narrative of what Kysre's supposed to look like, right? But I think my greatest advice to give is to learn how to fall in love with yourself, learn how to be your own best friend. And when you learn how to talk to yourself in a way, hear the sound of your own voice, hear the tone of God's voice, you know, you'll be able to attract anything and everything that you felt like you needed to alter to begin with. And I just hope that, you know, young women take a look at me and my platform and see that and can embrace my journey and know that no matter what, they can always unapologetically be themselves. Because as much as I tried to alter myself, when I got to where I got to, I forgot that it was because I was me in the first place is the reason why I got there.
Exactly. I love that. And off of that, on the note of pushing back on standards and what the current beauty standards are specifically, I'm curious what your personal definition of beauty is right now.
Yeah, I say beauty is truly the essence of humanity. Duh, essence. But I think to be beautiful is to be proud of yourself. I've learned how to become proud of myself, flawed and all. You know, I've becoming my own best friend and looking at myself the way that God sees me. I don't have this perception of perfection that just doesn't exist anymore. You know, which is why I can sit down and eat a half a gallon of Bluebell ice cream if I want to. But with that being said, you know, seeing yourself in that light, I think that women were made to be beautiful. Women are powerful. You know, beauty does not just come through what you look like. It comes through your verbiage. It comes through your walk. It comes through your aura. It comes through your mind. You know, I've learned the definition of what it means to be sexy. You can walk into a room and be completely covered and be the sexiest woman up in there because of your aura, you know, and we were created to be that way, you know, and being able to stand proud and strong in that, you know, it may intimidate some people, but you learn how to embrace yourself and become the baddest woman, baddest black woman you can be.
I love it. Yes. Oh my God. You're amazing. Dropping gems, taking all the notes.
Thank you.
Amazing. And then when you're on the go, what would you say is like your go-to beauty look in terms of makeup, hair, etc.?
Yeah, when I'm on the go, because I'm always traveling, I just normally just keep my hair in a bun, put on a leather jacket, some little baggy jeans, and some boots, and just call it a day. I don't really try to overdo who I was already created to be. At times like this, I can get all dressed up and get glammed and see myself in a different light. But I think that's one of the things I think as women that as we continue to learn about ourselves, that we don't have to be made up all the time. And when you do decide to pop out, it's people are like, wow, because they don't get to see you in that lens. And I think that the more that, as I continue to step into my different platforms and how I carry myself, hopefully it can inspire women to be able to unapologetically do the same.
Absolutely, yes. And then I'm curious what people can expect next from you or what you're excited about that you're currently working on.
Yeah, I'm in a really good place right now. Obviously, things haven't gone out to the liking of my plans, but I always say if you want to make God laugh, you tell him your plans. I know him all too well to get discouraged, to know that I am literally taking steps into the direction of which he has orchestrated just for me, wherever that leads to, whether it's basketball, high fashion, acting, being able to have these gifts to kind of do it all. But I think that's what's giving me peace right now. I get to wake up in the beauty of that discovery every day and be humbled and have grace in knowing that. And also be excited for right where I'm at and where I will be. I'm not in a rush. Anytime when I get in a rush, you can never, no matter how hard I work, you can never outwork God. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly. I love that. Beautiful. And I'm curious, you mentioned acting, maybe fashion.
I mean, I have some stuff
Does it
going on. I
all.
can't put it out there yet, but I'm working on some things.
Amazing. What about in the beauty space? Anything there that you might?
Yeah, I aspire to cross over and to do high fashion modeling. Obviously, with the type of attraction that I've got from my tunnel looks walking into my games. Some people are like, oh, you should be on a runway, And so if God plants me and puts me in those rooms, I'm going to do it, But I'm not going to force anything. Everything is about his timing, and he's never a second late.
Exactly. Well, you're incredible. Like
Thank
all
you.
the gems today that have been dropped, you look amazing. Beautiful spirit inside and out. So just thank you so much for your time today.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone that took the time to listen. I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Enjoy Essence Festival.